Okay guys, so today we're going to look at what's going on with ketosis and cancer. So there's been some research, and the research is what this video is based on, so you'll have all the information there. You're curious about how you can be on a keto diet or how it helps fight cancer, or how it's going to help prevent it. Okay guys, hi, I'm Dr. Lou and this is Dr. Lou's Low Carb Diet. A little bit about me. I'm a biology and science teacher and at the same time I hold a Bachelor of Science that specializes in food microbiology, and I hold a Master's Level 7 PGCEI from Nottingham University. So again guys, when it comes to looking at this science, the main idea is to see what it says, and yes, it's not finalized and in stone, but it uses may in a lot of the context, and may, if you know the English language very well, means more probable. So we're looking at something that where the science is backing it up more, a lot more than if you say might. We're going to start with the steps here to understand what we're looking at for keto. So step number 1, reduces glucose availability. Now this is very important. Why? Because glucose is the fast energy for the body. It's like a drug to our body. It loves it because it's just so easy to use. Now, less glucose in the body equals less fuel for cancer cells. Now, why is this? So what happens? Ketosis lowers blood glucose levels, reducing the amount of glucose available in the bloodstream. So glucose now is hardly there. Why it matters? Many cancer cells rely heavily on glucose for energy to grow and multiply. So cancerous cells use energy at a phenomenal rate. They are absolutely ravenous, and they will grow rapidly in some cases. And there's a whole thing when you're talking and understanding if they metastasize, and a whole range of things that are complicated. But what happens is it's called the Warburg effect. Now, what is that? It's linked to a lot of metabolic pathways for cancers. So what it means is that if you have less glucose, it means there's less fuel for those cells. And so that means there's less potential for rapid growth. And some people would even refer to it as starving cancerous cells. So that's the main idea. Look at the diagram here. High glucose, typical diet, high blood glucose, cancer cell abundant glucose feeds a cancer cell, supporting rapid growth and survival. Now, low glucose in ketosis, low blood glucose, cancer cells, limited glucose starves the cancer cells, slowing growth and proliferation. That just means spreading, duplicating. So now the big picture: glucose no to cancer cell. Key takeaway: reducing glucose availability. Ketosis creates an environment where cancer cells struggle to get their energy they need to grow. So, supporting evidence. The research shows that restricting glucose availability can inhibit cancer cell growth in laboratory and animal studies. So that's the research. I'm just giving you exactly what the science has proven. Now, again, if you want, I always keep the source there. The source is down there, so you can see the journal there coming from the government. So the whole idea is it's 100% hardcore research verified. So moving on now to step 2. So here we go. So step 2 lowers insulin and IGF-1 signaling. So what happens? Well, your hormone insulin is used for many things and signals many pieces of information to the body as well. So what happens? Ketosis lowers insulin levels. It reduces IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, and fewer growth signals circulating in the body. Why does it matter in this context? Well, insulin and IGF-1 act as a growth-promoting hormone. So if you don't want something to grow, what do you think you can restrict? So the signal cells to grow and divide and survive. High levels are linked to increased cancer risk in some studies. Now, result: lower signals equals slower abnormal cell growth. So again, another piece of science coming from the exact same piece of science linked to the government. Now, here you can see in the diagram, you've got an example: increased risk of cancer cell growth and proliferation. Why? Because you have high insulin and IGF-1 signaling. So these are all coming in and they're giving those signals to do that. If you have low insulin and IGF-1 signaling, that means there's hardly any signaling, meaning it slows it down. Weaker growth signals, less cell division, growth and survival. So there you go. Now you've got another addition adding to the evidence. Okay guys, so again, you can see you've got the information there. The shift is high carb diet, frequent spikes in blood sugar, high insulin, more insulin released, goes to high IGF-1, more growth signals, goes to more growth signals, increased cell growth, division and survival. Now, what happens vice versa? Low carb ketosis, stable blood sugar. Low insulin equals less insulin released. Low IGF-1, fewer growth signals. Less growth signals equals slower cancer cell growth and spread. So that's the logic behind it. That's scientific research. Okay, so now let's have a look at step number 3. So looking at step number 3, guys, you can see here, creates metabolic stress on cancer. So this diet is causing stress to the cancer. Okay, now let's have a look why. So what happens? In ketosis, the body shifts to using ketones like Beta-Hydroxybutyrate as a primary fuel. Healthy cells adapt and use ketones efficiently. Many cancer cells struggle due to mitochondrial dysfunction. So one key part of a cancerous cell is that a lot of the organelles and the intercellular functions are messed up, and that's why it's cancerous. It's just basically a cell gone rogue. Now, most of these instances have mitochondrial problems, and so they cannot adapt because they're not functioning properly. Hence, they're starved. You are there going, boy, nothing for you, or preventing it, going, I don't want any of those cells, adios. Why does it matter? Here we go. So cancer cells are often highly dependent on glucose. Limited ability to switch to ketones leads to energy stress inside the cell. Where are you going to get your energy from? Extremely impossible, nearly. Result, healthy cells adapt and thrive. Cancer cells become stressed and weakened. So here we go. You've got 2 pictures here. You've got the healthy cell adapts, very simple and straightforward. So you can see one mitochondrion, and over here you see one messed up mitochondrion. And so what happens is it's got mitochondrial dysfunction, low ATP production or adenosine triphosphate, and increased oxidative stress, cell growth, repair, and survival impaired. So let's hope the immune system clears them up. Right, the key takeaway here in this instance, ketosis creates a metabolic mismatch that healthy cells can handle, but many cells cannot. This gives you the advantage. So that is exactly what's happening. It's all proven in the science. Now, step 4, modulates cell signaling and gene expression. So what's the main idea here? Well, ketones, especially beta-hydroxybutyrate or BHB, act as a signaling molecule. So beta-hydroxybutyrate is basically the main fuel source ketone. Once you're in ketosis, that's for your brain. The main fuel for the body is fatty acids. So why it matters? Alters key cell signaling pathways. Okay, they influence how genes are turned on and off. BHB can inhibit histone. So BHB can inhibit histone deacetylases, and that's HDACSs for the acronym. So why it matters? Here we go. Alters key signaling pathways linked to inflammation, growth, and survival. Help shift cells towards a less cancer-friendly environment. So resulting healthier signaling equals reduced harmful cell activity, and that's what cancerous cells are. You can see here you have a quick diagram that shows you exactly what's going on. You can take a screenshot and go through it if you want. We have impact on the cell signaling pathway. So basically down-regulated, good. Yes, inflammation, cell growth, cell survival, and upregulated, which is good. DNA repair, oxidative stress resistance, and cellular differentiation. So your cells can do that are healthy when lots of cancerous cells cannot. Okay, so what's the key takeaway from this picture? Ketosis helps reprogram cells at the signaling and genetic level, reducing harmful signals and supporting protective anti-cancer pathways. Now, step number 5, enhances response to chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So obviously we understand that some people will be going through chemotherapy or radiotherapy if they have cancer. Now, what happens? Ketosis puts cancer cells under metabolic stress. This can make them more sensitive to chemo and radiation. Healthy cells adapt and are more resilient. So in other words, what we're saying is once we do these treatments, they're designed to kill off things, and the ones that are weak are going to be killed. So why it matters: stress cancer cells are easier to damage. Healthy cells are better protected. More may improve treatment effectiveness and outcomes. So the result is strong impact on cancer cells, better tolerance for healthy cells. Now, if we go into picture 6, you can see here going, right, may slow tumor growth. So step 6 is here because we understand it's not a cure, but it's a powerful adjunct strategy. So we understand that it's there and more conducive for health in these situations according to the research. Now, what happens? Ketosis reduces growth signals and fuel for cancer cells. Increases metabolic stress cancer cells. Why it matters? Cancer cells grow slower when they have less fuel and more stress. So that's simple to understand. If you've got all this occurring, then you know your body is battling these things because they already got damaged by your diet. Now you can get rid of them easier, or they can't grow because they just don't have the energy. Now, may help prevent spread and new blood vessel formation. So again, another issue, big problem for tumors. So the result is slower tumor growth and progression, more time, better quality of life, better outcomes. So this is what we're saying ketosis could do to someone who had a tumor, or anyone, to prevent, or has it this type of ability to occur. Now, ketosis, low insulin environment, growth is slowed, full stop. Less fuel, glucose, less insulin and IGF-1, fewer growth signals, reduced inflammation, less angiogenesis, slower cell division. Now, that basically gives you the key takeaway. Now, as I said, this is the piece of research. It's listed at the beginning, first step. It's all there. You can go and check it up online as well, guys. It's a piece of research linked to the government. And again, it gives you that understanding that it may have these effects. So, don't take it as obviously in stone, but again, it's showing positively the science is saying yes more than no. I hope you liked the video. Please thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.